it's something about how, I don't know, reading makes you able to pick up another language. Because if I wasn't a reader, I don't know if it would have stuck as much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on Literacy Journeys with Linda. I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Lydia Jean Stark. Lydia, why don't you tell the audience how we know each other?
Mrs. Mitchell was my 5th grade teacher.
5th grade teacher. That was a long time ago, but you're unforgettable, even though it was a long time ago. You're unforgettable because you were an A student in every subject. And you were just so outstanding. And I really appreciated that about you. You always wanted to do things with excellence. You never turned in any shabby work. Yeah, and so that's great. Another thing, a reason I want to talk with you is because I know you were a reader all the time. You were reading, absorbing information. And I want to find out now that you're an adult, you've graduated from college, how you're applying all of that in your life. And then my very special thing I want to know about is you're in Guatemala. Is that right? Is that where you are now?
That's right.
So I want to find out the connection between literacy and you becoming bilingual, and how has that helped you? Because I know you've got to be able to communicate with the community down there. So I want to find out about that. But first, tell me, I talked about how you were excellent in academics. I know you graduated from college. What was your degree in?
I have a bachelor's in social work.
Social work.
Yep.
And what did you graduate with? Tell me.
I had a 3.99 GPA, like a point from, but I graduated summa cum laude.
That's fantastic.
That's wonderful. And I got to graduate early too, because I had taken so many courses in the beginning that my credits I was good to graduate a little early, which was really nice too.
Did you always know what you wanted to do? Did you always know that you wanted to go into social work?
No, not really. I remember I saw, it was like this movie, and it was someone who was a social worker. And I just thought it was so cool that she could do, like in social work, you can be a part of every field. You can do a little bit of everything. Like you can be in court, you can be in a prison, you can be in Guatemala. Like it opens a lot of doors. So it's just like a catch-all. I don't know. It seemed like a really solid degree. So
what's the ministry that you're working for now?
It's called Project for Hope. I'm a social worker / communications person. So I also do a lot of like blogs and videos and communication stuff. We're a smaller ministry, but we work with single moms here in the community.
Are there a lot of single moms?
Yeah, there's a lot. And then they have their kids, and their kids come and study here too. But I'm not a teacher. I work with the moms mostly.
So what's a typical day look like for you?
It depends a lot. Right now, of course, the moms can't come because everything's shut down. So these days it looks more like writing a little bit, sending some, I don't know, newsletter kind of things, and then checking on the moms, prepping their food, because they come and pick up food every week now since the pandemic makes things really hard for them to keep their life stable, I guess. But on a regular day, whenever we're actually like working, the moms come in the morning. We do a little Bible study and devotion with them, and then usually I meet with them all one-on-one and kind of see how they're doing and see if they need anything. Some of them are in school. I help with the English class, although I know nothing about teaching and that's not my thing, but I help them with it because I speak English. So then it just depends on what we're doing that day. Sometimes we do workshops, like nutrition workshops, or one time we all got together and we just colored and talked and things like that, just kind of de-stress. It's fun.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Now, this sounds like it's really tapping into all of your skills.
Yeah,
because you're creative, you're artistic. Is it using all of your skills, you think?
I think so, especially because I get to, fun fact for everyone, I took photography classes with her husband, Mr. Mitchell, so I get to use all of that too.
Now, I'm really wondering about the language barrier. Is there one? How are you said you meet with the moms one-on-one. How are you communicating?
So I've taken many years of Spanish, and I've been in Guatemala for 1.5 years. So my Spanish is it's solid, but there's still the cultural barrier that when I'm saying something, I say it as if I would say it in English, even if it's in Spanish. Like if I'm approaching a difficult subject. And so it's somehow sometimes I have to just relegate that to someone else to do who's Guatemalan, because it can be taken in the wrong way. It's really delicate. Like I'm not Guatemalan, obviously. So, but definitely the Spanish, you need Spanish if you're going to work here or anywhere else. You need to be able to speak the language that people speak.
Right. And it's wonderful that you have immersed yourself in the culture. Like I said, you've always been a reader. How has that literacy helped you in gaining a facility with the language?
I think that reading in general, especially as a kid, it opens your mind to be able to receive anything you want to put in it, basically. Like if you're reading on a regular basis, it makes your brain able to pick up new vocabulary. And I mean, it's Spanish, but it's new vocabulary too. It's the same kind of, so it's, it's something about how, I don't know, reading makes you able to pick up another language. Because if I wasn't a reader, I don't know if it would have stuck as much in learning Spanish. Yeah.
Right. I understand.
And learning how to study too, which is important. Like, I don't know, I don't think if I wasn't a reader, I don't think I would have known how to study new material, how to read through things, how to absorb new info, like in school. Yeah. And so knowing how to study and how to read and how to absorb new info really helped me in figuring out and dissecting Spanish.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. Now, what about your writing, the work that you do? Are you writing in English, your blogs and your newsletters?
Yeah, that's all in English because it's communication with people in the States mostly. But I've done some writing in Spanish here, like not blogs, but like forms that I give to people or just general communication within the ministry. That's all pretty much in Spanish. But it's not like formal writing.
Do you I know, here's something else I know about you. You love dancing.
Yeah.
How about that part of your life? I'm
looking into this ministry to help with them a little bit. And they do a lot of art therapy and dance therapy. So I'm hoping to get dance back in that way. That would be so cool.
But you know what I think, like you said, the art therapy, the dance therapy, that all falls under social work, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, because all that's in your wheelhouse to do those things.
Yeah.
To do those things. So what do you do to relax?
I read a lot. I've been reading a lot during this pandemic.
Okay, so a lot for you is what?
Okay, so I've read, I don't know, when did this start? March? I've read 20 books since the quarantine started.
20 books? What kind of books? Novels and?
Not like, regular size books, not like crazy, but
all kinds of genres?
Yeah, just whatever looks interesting or whatever someone suggested to me. I worked my way through, the people I live with here, they have a bunch of books, and so I kind of worked through what I was interested in those. And yeah, it just feels you feel so accomplished when you close a book and mark it on your list.
What about the people that you help, the people that you work with? Do you find that the literacy levels are high, low? I mean, you know, we always hear about Cuba, 99.1% literacy level. Do you know anything about Guatemala?
I don't know like any stats, but I know that education is not, you don't have to go to school, and the schools are not very good. So, there's a lot of people who they have to work, and they have kids, and the moms have to work. So for example, we have this lady in our program, she's, I don't know, in her 50s. And she's in like a second grade level, and she's still studying because they can study in our program, and she loves it. And she's learning how to read at like 56 or so.
It's never too late.
No, it's not. And she loves it. She's so excited to study and to do her little coloring work and everything. She loves it.
You know why? Why do you think she loves it, Lydia?
She can finally get a chance to do what she's always wanted to study. She just never could, but
something's happening inside of her.
Yeah.
Just like for you. What happens inside of you when you're reading like that? Those 20 books, what did that do for you?
It's really empowering because you can see the world through so many different ways, and you can escape in it too. And you can learn so much. Like you can become an expert on whatever you want to if you just read the right books. And so for her, I think it's just really exciting because it's empowering. She's like, I'm finally getting to study. I'm finally getting to learn what I've always wanted to learn, what I've always been missing.
How does that make you feel when you see that those opportunities aren't there, the opportunities that you had?
It's definitely recognizing a privilege that I had, for sure. in school and in really invested teachers like you. Yeah, a library. There's no public library system here, which I miss the library.
That's breaking my heart right there. No way.
I know. There might be some, but I don't think there's like a, like in the States, it's the unified public library.
There's one in every city. Yeah.
Right. Here, I haven't. There are a few, like in Antigua, in one of the main bigger cities, there's a library. There's probably one in the city, but like here, no.
You said you've been privileged to have so much education, and now you're in a place where it's not as high a value. Well, the access.
Yeah.
It's not as accessible. Libraries, schools, than what you have. So, do you feel like you're helping with literacy at all with the population, with their literacy?
I want to say that I'm not really in that regard, but in like, I don't know, in an emotional literacy. Can I coin that term, emotional literacy? Because I do some counseling stuff with them too. And so we've done like, I don't know, maybe like worksheets. I mentioned those like coloring things, stuff like that, where they don't really have the same ideas of like emotional intelligence or how to recognize what they're feeling. I think that comes with education too. You can learn more about yourself. And if you don't have that, then you don't have a way to process a lot of things that have happened to you in your life. If you've never learned
giving them a language, you're giving them a language to describe those feelings. Or how do you feel when you're coloring? Is this relaxing? And you're giving, I get that.
Stuff like that. I didn't have much of a chance because, I came to work full time with these guys in January, and then quarantine started in March. So it wasn't that long of a period where I could work hands-on with them as much, but that's the kind of stuff I ultimately want to do. So I think that's another form of literacy.
Absolutely. There's financial literacy. Oh, I can't think of something. So now you said emotional literacy. There's all kinds of literacy. Just put it all in the literacy bucket. Well, I want to close by just asking you, is there anything that you like to share about that maybe we haven't covered, about how literacy has impacted your life? And then going forward, you're only 20 something. You've got many decades left. How do you see it impacting your life in the future?
I think since you mentioned, I am a really creative person. And so I like to do a lot of different forms of art stuff, but I think reading is something that really fuels that. And I think that's important for people to realize that too. Like if you have a creative kind of block, read some books. Like, for example, I haven't been writing very much. I usually blog, or the past few years I just kind of fell away from that. But I've been with like this jump start of all these books, it's gotten me back into writing again, because it just like fills you up with all these ideas and words, and it just has to come out somehow. So I think that's really important to say, that reading is like, it's fuel for creativity in a lot of different ways. And I think that's really cool.
Oh, that's great. It sounds like an opportunity for maybe listeners to send books down there to your mission.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Maybe they need maybe the ladies need to have books down there, but they would have to be in Spanish, I imagine. Mm-hmm. I imagine. Well, why don't you say little something in Spanish to the people who are listening, maybe to your families, to encourage them, like that mom who is so eager to read in her 50s. Say an encouraging word to them, Lydia, because you're such a great example of a person who has used that literacy from a young child, and now look what you're doing.
Okay. I just say, like, es importante leer y aprender otras formas de vida. Es importante.
Sí. Sí, yo puedo comprendo. I think I said I can understand.
Yeah, you did.
Yo hablé español un poco.
Qué bueno.
Well, thank you so much, Lydia, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been speaking with Miss Lydia Jean Stark. She is doing mission work in Guatemala, fulfilling her passion of doing social work, and what got her there was her literacy skills. And so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on Literacy Journeys with Linda. If you enjoyed this interview, please click that subscribe button so you won't miss any interviews, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, Lydia. Bye.